Coming at you live, I want to do a series of 3 or 4 videos, I haven't decided yet, where I talk all about pranks that we used to do back in the day. This first video though is dedicated to one individual that I spent a lot of time with in my life. He self-identifies as Guy Gronman. The Star Wars loving, goofy moshing, large member, Pat Ard looking 00111, yes, that Guy Gronman.
And as always, this is just for friends.
To narrow it down to the top 3 because ultimately I could have spent all day telling you stories about how we used to prank each other. This first prank I'm titling Glitter and Grass. Guy used to drive this white Saturn everywhere. We would take it to shows, he'd be blasting some trebly like Goaty Hook or some crap like that. I don't really recall why I pranked him or if I needed a reason at all. It was just another time to get a guy and get under his skin. This prank starts off really simple. All you need to do is get a piece of paper, roll it up, and then twist it as hard as you can so you kind of create a really thin funnel at the end. Then you find the finest glitter that you possibly can. Walmart, any craft store, etc. will have what you need. When their car is unlocked or get their keys and unlock it, you go in and fill every vent with as much glitter as you can dump in as possible. That's where the thin end comes into place, because if you just try to dump glitter into their vents, it probably wouldn't work very well. The farther you can get the glitter back in the vent, the better. Because the idea here is this is a long-term play. It's really difficult to suck all the glitter out with a vacuum, even the most high-powered ones at a car wash. And so this actually plays out over time. As they're turning on their heat, turning on their AC, it spits out a little bit of glitter at a time. Because since it's down in that gully, it's not actually blowing it all out at once. A lot will come out, but over time, just little pieces here or there. Always reminding them that the glitter's in there. I know at the first part of the episode I said glitter and grass, so this is where that second part comes in. Guy had just gotten all of the glitter out of his car. It felt like months had went by, so we really got our money's worth. He parked his car in the same spot on our street, right in front of our house. We were roommates at the time, and his back window on his car was down. And as I walked by, I noticed that our lawnmower man had just finished mowing, so there was tons of grass clippings everywhere. I quickly got the bright idea because I just remembered that Guy flaunted to us that he had cleaned out all the glitter finally. I took a sled that was on our porch, which was the easiest thing to get to, and I filled it as full as I could with that dead grass, and then I took it and flung it into the window. It splattered glass all over the inside of the car. Everywhere you could think was covered in grass clippings. I look over and to my surprise, the lawnmower guy is still there and he is cracking up. He has no idea whose car this is, if it's a roommate, a neighbor, or just some person I have no clue who they are and they just got pranked. An hour or two goes by, I hear Guy run in the house and he's pissed that somebody had pranked his car. Come to find out, I made him believe that the lawnmower had actually shot it into his car because he was the one who left his window down. Part number 2 of these pranks, let's call it the superhuman paycheck. Back in college, when some of us didn't even go to college, we were just college age, we actually would do these clinical trials at a place called Quintiles. And before you judge me, I feel like it actually made me stronger than the average person because I don't get sick very often, and really the only difference between me and many other people is I did a ton of drug studies in college, even though I'm straight edge, so we never really had any side effects that I recall, and we'd done quite a few of those studies back in the day. Everyone always asks. I know that one time Guy passed out, I think in the bathroom after getting one of the drugs. However, he can tell that story. This is around the same time as that first prank, so we all lived together. We had a house that was really run down. It was on Russell Street, if I recall. I got home from work, I saw that in the mailbox there was a ton of mail, so I grabbed all of it, I just thumbed through it really quick, and I saw that one was from Quintiles and it was to Guy. The only time that Quintiles sends us mail is when it's a check. So I immediately had the ideas, maybe I'll just hide this for, an hour or two until Guy gets home, he'll wonder about it, and then I'll give him the check and we'll have a good laugh. So we had a drop-down ceiling in our first level, so I pushed up one of the panels and I slid the check in there, and then I just waited for him to ask me about it. So hours turned to days and days turned to weeks, and I forgot all about this check. So long story short, guys yelling downstairs. So this has been like 2, maybe 3 weeks at this point. And I run down, I'm like, what's going on? He's like, I've checked the mail every day for this check. They're supposed to be sending me like $1,000. And for us at that time, that was like $10,000 because we had to pay rent, we needed gas, we were college students, so we had to get McDoubles. Everything was crucial for us to get this money from Quintiles or we couldn't survive. At that point, it dawned on me that I'd been playing this prank way too long and I completely forgot about the check. Guy is super pissed and I look at him and somehow it must have been a God thing because I was literally standing right below the panel where I just slipped the check up a couple weeks earlier. So as I look at him, I immediately get this look on my face like, oh crap. And I reach my hand up into the ceiling as he's looking at me and I pulled down the $1,000 check and I say, oh, this check? And I think he almost killed me. This video is getting long, so I'm gonna cut to the third one and we're gonna try to get through this as quick as possible, but it is the best for last. As roommates do, we all occasionally will eat each other's food, even if it's labeled. I know that it's off limits in that case, but there are those random chances where someone's eating your food, you don't know who it is because you have 5 roommates, so you have to pull a plank to smash down on them. My friend and roommate at the time, BJ Morrow, we devised a plan where we were gonna make X-Lex brownies. So we went to the store. We didn't really want to get any of the liquid stuff because we weren't sure how it worked, so we actually bought a bunch of pills and tried to smash them up the best we could. We did a really horrible job, and once we actually baked the brownies, we could see through the glass container that a lot of the pills were blue and they'd actually settled to the bottom. So they were kind of hidden in there a little bit with the chocolate, but they were pretty obvious that there was something floating around in that batter. We took the brownies after they were baked and we laid them out on our counter and we decided that someone would have to walk by and notice that there were free brownies there. Even though they weren't theirs, they were gonna smash them and they were gonna get the penalty and pay the price. Hours went by, we started noticing that the brownies were disappearing, one after another, until they were all gone. Later that evening, Guy and I both had a shift at McDonald's. Yes, that's right, I worked at McDonald's. I also worked at Burger King, I also worked at a Chinese restaurant, I worked a lot of fast food in college. This was a McDonald's that was actually in the back of a Walmart, so before they had Subways at the front, they had restaurants in the back. I guess the idea was to make you walk all the way through the store if you wanted to get to the McDonald's, and then you would eat there and then buy some other crap or whatever. But it was a really slow night. It was just me, him, and a manager working, and like every 10 to 15 minutes, I would notice that Guy was gone. So he just kept leaving, and I really didn't think much of it until later I realized that it was because he ate all those freaking brownies. My manager started getting worried. She's like, he's been gone for a long time and he's gone frequently. So I had to tell her, I let her in on the prank and I was like, I'm sorry, but since it's slow, hopefully this doesn't make that big of a deal. We had a good laugh and I didn't tell Guy for a very long time what had actually been happening to him. This is where we can wrap a bow on it. So me and Guy played in a band called Eschile. That's right, I choose you, Gyarados, Eschile. We're both on stage. We're playing some show at a church in Blue Springs, some Hope show. I can't remember what exactly it was called. However, we're in between songs and all the band members are kind of in on it. They know that what had happened to Guy, you know, a few weeks earlier. And I stopped one of the songs and we start talking about, hey, thanks for coming out, all the standard stuff. And then I look at Guy and I say, hey, you remember a couple of weeks ago when you had to go to the bathroom a ton of times at our work? And he's like, yeah, why are you bringing that up in front of all these people? And then I explained to him that he had eaten all these X-Lax brownies and it was in front of so many people that he couldn't do anything about it because we're literally playing a show and we have to play more songs. So it was the best opportunity to out him in front of a bunch of people, get a good laugh, but at the same time, he really couldn't harm me unless a bunch of people saw it. And then he'd, you know, go to jail, whatever, who knows. Probably has a warrant for his arrest right now. All in all, Guy Gronman is one of the people that you should know in your life. He has changed my life for the better so many times over. The stories that I can tell about me and him, or just about him, are great and they will live on with me forever. Even though he is such a good dude, he puts up with so much crap, especially from me and the boys back in college. I will be your friend till the end. Thanks, Guy.